Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I'm joined by
Hillary, Sarah,
Helen, Valerie.
On today's episode, we take a look at some of the supporting characters in Amy Schumer's new film, I Feel Pretty, played by Heidi Bryant, Busy Phillips, Rory Scovel, and Michelle Williams. Let's get into it.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man.
You look stupid and rich. Stupid and rich.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Did you have something, Hillary? Or you were looking like you did?
No, if you have something you want to talk
Oh, I mean, I've got 10 things, so we can just grab any one of these.
I got a lot up here, but I have a feeling they're all going to be echoed in yours.
Well,
you have more well thought out stuff.
Do you want? No, it's not well thought out. I literally jotted this down before I came over here.
Well, I wanted to kind of talk about my expectation of it being like Shallow Hal and the comparison that's been made to that movie.
Good. I would love to dig into that.
Because that was one of the things that really held me back from wanting to go see it, because Shallow Hal still to this day just like, oh God, it's just like, it's such a gross movie and it really rubs me the wrong way. And I thought that that's what this was going to be. Mm-hmm. And I thought that it was going to be that second, like she looks in the mirror in the beginning of the movie and she's wearing her Spanx and she's just like, oh God. And she's just like not happy.
Great use of Spanx in a movie, by the way.
Yes,
I'm like, that's what it looks like when I come home at night too.
Exactly. And like you try to squeeze yourself out of the Spanx.
Exactly.
Like,
I wear underwear like up to my chest.
I do
now,
too.
Just to hold everything in.
Yeah, just smooth out the rolls.
Pull the casing off the sausage.
Exactly.
I wanted her to take the Spanx off.
I know.
That sounds bad.
Well, but then that's the thing is later on in the movie when she's like, after she's hit her head and she's had her accident and she's looking in the mirror, I expected it to be a Shallow Hal moment where she looks in the mirror and she's seeing a skinny person, and she's not. She's touching her own thighs, her own arms. She's touching the like flabby arm that looks
really
just
important.
like mine. And
exactly. And her belly.
Yeah. And then she's not. And to talk about the Spanx too, when she comes in it in that second time and she's looking in the mirror, she's not wearing Spanx under her skirt.
Right.
And you see her little belly roll in her skirt, and she's still wearing the exact same clothes she was wearing. And I loved that.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought that we were going to have that Shallow Hal moment where she looks in the mirror and was like, all of a sudden, a thinner actress.
I definitely don't think Amy would ever co-sign for that.
I didn't either. Yeah. And that's what was so shocking to me. But that comparison was made so often that I was like, why would Amy Schumer make that movie? Of course I'm going to be mad at her for that. Right. But that wasn't the movie she made.
I mean, I would even say like because as I was sitting there watching this movie, I'm like, I love seeing things progressing in her life and all this stuff is happening to her, and that's great. She gets a boyfriend and she gets promoted at work and all of that, and now hot rich guy is also into her. Helen just rolled her eyes at that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how are they going to get out of this? This is what I'm thinking while I'm watching the movie. I'm like, how are they going to get themselves out of this? Because she can't stay like this. If she did, then I feel like this movie would be disappointing. And they get out of it. They get her to that point and get out of it in a very clever way. First of all, she starts to really lose some friends and almost loses her boyfriend because she became so consumed with her selfishness and her looks that she starts making her friends feel bad about themselves. And so she almost, we haven't even talked about her friends yet, which definitely should. So, and then to get out of it, they ever hit her head, the spell gets broken. And then in order to get back into it, she has to come to the realization that she's always looked this way. It's just how she felt about herself that changed. I love that it wasn't because of the boyfriend. I love that she dumped the boyfriend. It wasn't him saying, but I love you the way you look. Because I feel like if this movie had been made like 5 years ago, it would have been the boyfriend that would have made her see how beautiful she is.
That scene at the bar?
Yeah, I know. I almost cried at that too. But she was like on the phone, like, I can't. And I was like, I was like, I looked at Nicole and I was like, I can't do this right now.
Run to him.
I know.
Go take his beard in your hands.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's a good time to talk about him. Like, let's talk about him. Was he a good romantic interest?
I want him. I want that actor and that character just to match.
Rory Scovel.
Did you know, hot fact, sorry,
go for it.
But did you know that they have Amy Schumer and Rory Scovel started out in comedy together. They went to open mics together 15 years ago, and
I just watched his stand-up special that was filmed at Relapse in Atlanta.
Really? So
last night.
He taped another one just about 2 weeks ago.
No kidding.
Relapse
at Relapse?
Mm-hmm.
Why does he keep coming back to Relapse? I know he's from North Carolina.
I don't know. I think
where can we watch it?
It's not out
Netflix.
yet.
Well, the one I watched last night was on Netflix, and it's called Rory Scovel's Never Done Comedy Before, or something like that. And it was produced by Jack White and Third Man Records, so Jack White is also briefly in it.
And
but it's filmed at Relapse.
in it as well.
Yeah.
But I've seen Rory Scovel live.
You used to do open mics too, right?
Yeah, I did. I've met him. He's a delight.
You met Rory Scovel?
I've met Rory Scovel.
Okay, please dish.
Okay,
I'm gonna get my dish hands out. Please dish.
I was at the dry cleaners. I just pulled my number. That's not true. So remember when there was a place called the Atlanta Improv?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss it.
In Andrews Entertainment District. Yeah. So he played at the Improv, and it was not a huge crowd. So I got to meet him after the show. He was, he was Rory Scovel in person. So he was like the same, but not doing an accent. He sometimes does accents in his act.
Yeah, I want to say his comedy is weird as fuck.
And yet so brilliant.
Yeah, it's like subversive, and like some of it is even like, because Hillary and I have started doing open mics, and there's like all this like bullshit misogyny you encounter where people are just like, I don't even think they're writing jokes, they're just going up there and talking about their wieners, and it's just like not even funny. And he tells some jokes like this in that stand-up that I saw, but they're told in a way that it's like they're poking fun at the very act of telling that joke.
Yeah, he subverts the entire like standard notion of stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
in some
the punch,
ways.
the structure is all over.
I'm going to
like,
go home and watch that tonight.
He's so fabulous.
You got to get past him saying anal like 30 times in a row in the first like minute, and just you got to ride over that. Just ride over that.
That's what they all say.
Stick with it. It's just anal. He says it like 40 times.
Just push through the pain.
Like Chris and I were looking at each other like, I want to keep watching? Yeah, don't push. Just relax.
Just
relax.
Like, well, definitely want to keep watching, but I don't know if I'll listen.
But
But it's very weird, and it was. Chris and I enjoyed it. Sorry, please keep going.
But I took a picture of Rory Scovel with my husband, and I was using my husband's phone, and I was not familiar with how the camera worked, so I just like kept poking at it, and nothing was happening, and I was like, Mr. Scovel, I'm so sorry.
Did you call him Mr. Scovel?
I don't think I did. I was
Please tell me you were like, Mr. Scovel.
I was like, sugar lips, I can't make this work. And he was like, that's okay. And then I look back, and I've taken 11 pictures, and it has been working the whole time.
You just...
He was such a good guy, and
He's really good friends with one of my old coworkers, Clayton. So every time he's in town, he's like, "My friend Rory's in town. He's the funniest guy."
I loved his stand when I watched it last night. But like at first, I wasn't sure. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That happens to me.
What is happening?
Every stand-up special I watch, it starts. I'm like, and then at the end, I'm like, oh my god, I love it.
But I will say that his persona in the stand, and I would call it a persona because it's definitely a character that he's playing. Is very different than the character in this film, because in this film he's like this sweet, like sort of nerdy, kind of shy.
And Amy says that they thought of him for this role because this is like who he actually is.
He was not the first.
Oh,
He was
really?
the second.
Oh, well, who was the
second one
first
in
choice?
I don't know that.
I really want it. Maybe we can look it up during the break. I'd love to know.
But I also don't want to know that because I can't imagine this character played by anyone else but him.
I know.
He was so
He was
perfect.
great.
So cute.
So perfect.
I feel like I've wanted him to be a romantic lead for so long, and that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him in the trailer, so when he appeared on the screen, I was just my heart.
He wasn't
leapt
in the trailer. You're
from
right.
my chest.
He was
in
in the bikini scene part of the trailer. Yeah.
Oh, see, I saw the one where he was following her down the street after they had met, or like or something. Like I saw a different trailer with a different portion of his scene.
I feel like even his type of romantic lead is different. I think even than you might have seen like 5 years ago. Like the idea of like the nerdy guy who's like
sensitive.
Yeah, like the nerdy guy, like being a nerdy guy is like hot in a
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Who I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but
you.
he's a conventionally attractive.
Yes.
Like he's not like a.
No, we want Bill Hader and Rory Scovel.
Yeah.
And Pat Goldthwait to star in romantic leads.
Pat Goldthwait. God.
Oh gosh.
Is it too late for him?
No, he's so hot.
How old is he? Wow, that's not something you commonly hear in public.
Not at all. Not at all.
No Bob Kitten.
Meow.
So yeah, I thought Rory Scovel was great. I love the scene when they're having sex for the first time, and she like stands in front of the window because the ice cream man might be there.
She keeps flipping the light on.
That's so good.
I love it.
And she's like staring herself in the mirror, and he's like, "Are you looking in the mirror?" And I'm like, "Oh no!"
I know. I was really worried.
I love that. It's so hot.
Like, it's so hot.
Yeah.
It was really comforting when he kept turning the light off, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I know. I was worried about that too.
And then he was like, "I was worried you didn't want to see me," and I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
goodness.
"That's so sweet."
Like, we all want to see you, Rory. May I say, their first kiss is maybe my favorite first kiss I've seen in many years.
What?
Okay.
That's
So-
a big.
it was-
That's a lot.
There's
That's a big.
something. They were just
recommend.
sitting on that blanket in the
It
park.
was beautiful. Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
leans in, and she says, "Are you gonna kiss me?" And his mouth is like millimeters
Right
from
there.
hers.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
I was thinking I might move just really, really close and then kiss you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was really
incredibly
great.
genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they had really good chemistry. Let's jump back in. Let's get back. Let's keep talking about Rory Scovel. I really want to talk about Ethan. That's his name.
Ethan.
Oh, that was so. Was
That's
that?
really endearing.
Was that? I'm trying to. I had
Call-
trouble
some
figuring out
guys
that
called
joke.
him wheat thin, and
Was
he
it
thought
wheat
meant
thin?
Wheat thin,
Wheat thin.
like the cracker.
Yeah.
And he thought that they were calling him like thin and crispy or something. And
Bland.
like,
Oh,
but
I
she was
thought
like
he-
wheat thin, Ethan. It rhymes with your name.
And he was like, "Oh my god, that is
see,
what it
this
is."
is why I didn't get the joke. I thought he said wheat thin, and I thought it meant like he was weak or something.
Well, wheat.
And I was
thin.
like, that seems
thin.
mean. I mean, I get
Well,
why
wheat
he's
thin
upset.
Does, intonate that you're weak.
Well,
No,
I mean,
I love a good wheat thin.
I
I
was
think it's a very
love
sturdy
wheat thin.
cracker.
I was gonna say wheat thins are like the cracker that while you're eating it, you wish it was a Triscuit.
Oh,
That's how I
hate
feel.
Triscuits.
I hate Triscuits.
Hate them.
Okay, Triscuits are
Oh my God.
multifaceted.
No,
they have lots
I
of different
enjoy a
flavors.
Triscuit.
Biscuits are substantial, but wheat thins are forever,
Oh,
right?
God.
Yeah.
They're like, they're like
Yeah,
shredded
could-
wheat or something.
It's a,
Well, they literally are,
It's
I
like
think,
that
shredded.
cereal, but worse.
It's cereal but worse. Yes.
I don't like that cereal, but I do like to eat the frosting off of
I
it.
do
You were
like
gonna
that
say- you were
cereal.
gonna say.
I could eat a trough of wheat thins or Ethans, depending.
Oh, yeah.
Could you eat a
Triscuits?
trough of Ethan's? Whoa, that's the poltergeist.
Triscuits
the
are
wine
the
just
only
jumped
thing I will eat easy cheese on, and I find Triscuits to be like the perfect.
They really are the perfect receptacle for easy
Exactly.
cheese,
Yeah.
or
No,
for
you're
Laughing
right on
Cow.
that.
Spread a little Laughing
Oh
Cow
yeah,
on there.
any sort of liquid-like cheese,
like a liquidy cheese.
See, Laughing Cow, I still think is too classy for it. Like, I want it to come out of an
squirt, a
aerosol can. Like, remind me of my
I
childhood.
feel like Triscuits are like that's a classy cracker.
Let's stop
You put
talking
that out
about
at
it.
a
They're
party,
so
right?
gross.
Okay.
I'm gonna vomit. Disgusting.
So I would like to talk about this bikini contest scene,
Yes.
which is where they end. Oh, there's a horn. Which is where they end up on their first date.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So they've gone to the
First, I'm
dry
sorry. I love
cleaners.
that
Do you want to
she-
talk about the dry
I love
cleaner?
that she eats his hot dog. I'm sorry. That's
Oh my
what I
god!
wanted to say.
Wait, can we talk about how this movie should have been written for Hillary? Like I feel like this movie
Yes.
was written for Hillary,
This
and somehow
date in
Amy
particular?
Schumer got this
I
part.
know. I was like, this date. I was like, I feel like I've been on this date where I've just like dragged a guy around. And I ate his food, and like then we were just like at a place, and I was like, I'm gonna take my shirt off.
Yep.
And just like I'm gonna do it. I'm like a lot drunker than Amy Schumer is at this point in the movie, though. You know, like at this point in the date, I would have probably been like 6-7 drinks in and been like, my shirt's coming off. Who wants to hold my pants?
So they meet at this dry cleaners, and she puts her number into his phone, and then she calls him, right? Which is taboo.
I was into
Is it anymore? I don't know.
That scene because she called.
No, I
him
love
and she
it.
Was like, I know it can be hard to like call an attractive woman, so I just wanted to take that pressure off you. And I was like, yeah, girl.
I know.
And he
I
was
loved it.
apparently like, who is this? And she was like, oh, it's Amy from the dry cleaner.
Or Renee. Her name's Renee. In the
Renee,
movie,
I'm
but-
sorry. Never mind.
No.
Renee.
Renee. Yeah. And so they end up going on the board. They're at Coney Island, I guess, right? Because this
I
takes
think
place
so,
in here.
yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like Coney Island. There's like an amusement park kind of thing. She eats his hot dog.
So he was like, that was my dog.
You ate both.
She doesn't even respond. She
No.
just
She
sees the
walks
bar
on.
and walks on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And there's a bikini contest there.
Yep.
And I was really wondering how this was going to play out.
I was so worried. I was like,
like, what is going to happen?
It played out kind of ideally.
It did.
It's like,
it played out great.
I loved it from beginning to end. I mean, spoiler alert.
But alarms went off. I was like, this could not be played well.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about spoilers. Like, if anybody is listening to the show, I hope you've seen I Feel Pretty, because we're just fucking talking about it.
Rolling up her shorts and pulling up her shirt, he's like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, oh God, does he think she's gross? And I was starting to get worried about that.
I think he was worried she was going to be embarrassed.
That's what it seemed to be. Yeah.
And because he's expressed that he's a super self-conscious person and he's not comfortable around bros or he referred to the boys club that he's trying to break into. He wants to be a cameraman.
Right.
So he's a self-conscious person. He presumes she's human like he is.
Yeah.
And that if she embarrasses herself, she'll be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, their connection is
it's so cute.
Cool. Yeah.
But I think it also reflects his perception. In a way, it does reflect his perception of her body. Like, he is recognizing that she doesn't look like those women, and that there would be something to be embarrassed about.
But most women don't look like those women.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But most women also wouldn't enter into a contest like that.
Or they might, but not if you look up there and you see those women up there. You're like, I'm not even going to bother.
Right.
I think he was just also uncomfortable with the spontaneousness of it. I feel like if she had registered beforehand and had a bikini, it would probably be more encouraging of a thing. It was just that she's like literally not really wearing a bikini. He's just worried for her.
Yeah. And don't forget that this is like a wish fulfillment movie, and so she's probably like something she's always wished she had the confidence to do.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't like I've never thought about joining doing a pageant or any kind of beauty contest or anything
not at all.
where I'm judged.
No.
Like even being on a podcast, I'm like, people are gonna judge me.
I mean, I might enter a most frizzy-haired, pear-shaped competition, but that's about as far as I would go.
I could probably get pretty far in a hot dog eating contest. I could probably get pretty far in that. I'm not gonna lie.
I like hot dogs.
So I loved the whole thing. I was wondering, like, is she gonna win? Is she not gonna win? Like, how are they gonna get? Again, how are they gonna get out of this?
I actually liked that she didn't win.
I did
too.
Didn't win.
I loved this whole scene too. Because something that really struck with me was while she was up on stage dancing too, she was enjoying herself so much.
Yeah.
And it was also like, I talked to my friend when we were walking out of the movie, and I was just like,
Christo watched this with Christo.
Yes, Christo.
Guest on Vertigo season 1.
Ooh, yes. And the moment where she's up there dancing and she does the like dance move where she turns around and like you can see between her legs and see her stomach rolls between her legs.
I loved it so much.
I was like, that just made me so happy to see someone do that, because you see so many like videos and music videos and stuff where women do this and like there's nothing popping out, and I'm just like, that's so unrealistic that you would bend in that way and you're not going to see anything. And I was like, that's what I look like when I bend over, and it made me so happy.
But they lit her really beautifully.
They did.
And she had the makeup they did for her was, I mean, they made her look like she did look beautiful. Like they made like
White Snake video.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, the hair and like the wet, like the moisture, and I'm just saying, like it wasn't like they didn't like, I feel like in different hands it could have been shot like, look at, isn't it funny when someone like her
video,
It
reminded me of the Thunder Thighs music video.
Exactly. It was like her body was made beautiful in that scene, in all of,
and she was just there celebrating it.
Yeah,
it made me really happy.
And I love that at the end we find out that the woman who won, it was kind of because of nepotism, and it was she was always gonna win.
Yeah.
And then Amy's
that's actually what she said.
Out. She's like, I smell politics here.
Yeah.
And I like this idea that she didn't win, but we kind of
maybe
she
could have.
She probably would have though.
I think we all won, really, in the end.
Well, she won the crowd over. It was played out very well. She got up there, and when she first got up there, because of course all the other girls are like very thin, like modelly looking. And the crowd didn't seem to be receptive to her at first, but when she started dancing and having a good time, and they were having a blast, and they got into it, and like her enjoyment and like the beauty that she had, that she knew she had, and was and sharing with everyone, made them have a good time.
Yeah.
And I love the cutaways too.
Oh no! Oh man!
It's not happening.
No, it's not. It's fine.
I loved when they cut back to Ethan, because like it showed his like transformation during that scene about like, oh God, to like Yeah, like this is awesome.
He was like this is
hot.
hot.
And then it turned into like
a standing ovation. And then you have David Tell, who
he was so good.
David Tell,
great
who was
cameo.
hosting the contest, who like gives Ethan this whole spiel about how like your girl is great. Like obviously these other girls are way hotter, but
she
like
could something in a knife. She could hold her own in a knife fight.
Yeah, it was something like that. She's like, that's a girl that's gonna help you out in a knife fight or some shit like that.
Again, this movie was written for me.
It was.
I also liked when Ethan answered his question in like 2 sentences, and he said, "I didn't ask for a podcast." Okay.
I know. I love it. I love it. That was so great. Yeah, David Tell, great cameo.
Yeah.
He kind of isn't he sort of like a mentor of Amy Schumer? Like they're really close, right? Yeah.
He was in Trainwreck as well. Yeah.
He was great. Great cameo by him. Enjoyed him a lot.
totally.
Okay.
Well, that's it, guys. Let's go.
All right. So that was fun.
I think this is settled.
So this movie is good.
We're
Fuck
all
all the
going home to
haters.
watch Rory stand up.
You should. It's great. Just get past that first 15 minutes of him just talking about anal. Not that it, just get through it.
That's the only part I watch. I just rewind, play it back
Over and over.
The album I have of his is called Dilation, and now I'm wondering if there's a connection.
Oh no.
You're gonna have to go home and watch this alone.
Dilation is not one of my favorite words. It's a triggering word for me. So anybody got something they want to jump on? John, you want to jump on something?
Go ahead. No, I've already.
It looks like you got you've got something.
Can we talk about Michelle Williams a
I
little
want
bit?
to. That was the next thing on my list. Yes.
Because I'm trying to think of a time when I've seen Michelle Williams play a comedic role, and if I ever have, it hasn't been enough.
Yeah.
Because I was really surprised, like almost dumbstruck by her performance in this
We
thing.
saw her name in the opening titles, and Christo leaned over to me and was like, "Michelle Williams is in this?" And I was like,
I
had trouble believing that was her at first because I was like, her voice.
She turned to me. She was like,
is that really her?
She was so good because she has this affectation, and she even references it in the movie. It's something she's really self-conscious about,
which I loved. What a great piece of writing.
Well, because she's stunning, she's rich, she's an heiress to the fortune of this cosmetics company. She's famous,
like couture outfits on,
and she's incredibly self-conscious because of the relationship she has with her grandmother, because of her voice. She's done everything she possibly can. Vocal coaching, just vocal coaching.
And like that, because I did the same thing. I'm like, I'm so quiet. I took like one vocal coaching lesson. It was like $300. I was like, I've tried.
Oh, and I did everything I can.
She's really a dynamic character because she begins as a lot of the people at Lily LeClaire, the cosmetics company where Amy Schumer's character works. Brands. Yeah, I didn't
even know what the fuck a diffusion brand was.
I'm
never
obsessed
heard of that.
with YouTube makeup tutorials and stuff. I did not even know this.
I used context clues.
Well, yeah, they did.
Like
Lauren Hutton explained to me what it was.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren.
But you have Michelle Williams talking about it. She's like, so we're going to discuss the rollout for our new diffusion line. And as soon as her mouth opened, I was just in awe of what she was doing.
It felt like a real character. Like she felt like a person, which again, like that. God, she's such a fucking great actress. She really made this whole person. It was crazy.
I agree.
I know that's technically what acting is.
And I
but
think it was,
I just want to say that.
I think that was a role that would be really easy to just play a one-line character. You know, like just a sort of
one-dimensional
person. And
We've
like
seen that boss character in like almost every
rom-com. Exactly. And so like I think it would have been really easy to do that, and I think that she did a great job of making herself a multifaceted real person in the movie. And
I love what she did with her body too, like the way she moved and like
she was like slithering. She almost slithered a little bit.
And she seemed so awkward too, like in that scene where she approaches Amy at the table while she's sitting there eating, and she just like starts off like really far away and then gets a little bit closer and then is just like on top of her and then takes the food with her
and then like runs away.
I think it's meant to be indicative of the lack of experience she has interacting with like the hoi polloi of the world, like the regular, the Target folks.
The Target folks. I consider myself a Target folk.
Because there's only something like slapstick just in the way she walks.
Yeah.
And that's because that's who she is. That's just how she carries herself. She was bred in this way. And her performance reads in every inch of her body.
And I think it can also go to the way she's perceived by the other people in it too, because like Amy's the first person to really treat her like a real person in it, and like kind of get to know her on that level. Everyone else that she's surrounded with is sort of a yes man, and I think that this movie says that about the character of Renee, but also about her as well, and how people perceive her and how she perceives herself too. And I think it was really interesting to see that it was multiple women in the movie, that we saw how other people treated them and like,
how they're wrestling with their own insecurity, and it affects their ability to succeed in life. Because it was holding, I don't remember Michelle Williams' character.
Avery.
It was holding Avery's. It was holding her back too, to have that sort of insecurity, and she leaned on Renee a lot to help her kind of get out of that towards the middle of the movie there.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised to see. So I stalk like Busy Phillips. On Instagram.
They were great. Let's talk about them. They were so great.
They were so great.
They were great. Amy Schumer's friends in the film.
This movie, and so I wasn't surprised to see Jennifer Williams in it. But oh my gosh, Helen, like you don't see her in a comedic role. I can't think of anything I've seen her in.
Oh yeah,
that's this
delightful.
I can't.
Yeah,
like I think I like locked myself in a closet for a week after Blue Valentine.
Oh God!
Kat and I like ugly cried at Manchester by the Sea in public. Like I don't know what to do. Like I'm scared to see movies that Michelle Williams are in because I don't know if I.
Maybe that's why they didn't put her in the trailer. They're like, it's not sad. Don't put her in the trailer. We don't want to confuse people.
She wasn't the one in The Great Gatsby, right? I get those two actresses confused.
That's
Carrie Mulligan.
I always get married Carrie Mulligan. And,
yes, I've taken
Michelle
pictures
Williams.
of both of them to my stylist, so that's how I know.
Something I should do.
I can see that.
Well, let's talk about her friends. So Busy Phillips and Ivy Bryant. Yeah, they play her friends.
I got mad crushes on these women.
Yeah, oh my God, they're amazing.
I want to go on a group date with them.
They all had good chemistry.
I want to go on a grouper date with them.
God, what a great idea, that grouper app where like you go on a group date with people. How fucking creepy is that? It's so creepy.
No, there used to be an app like that.
Isn't that like, I mean, you're obviously like, you want to be a swinger, right? If you're getting yourself into that.
You're nervous to meet someone one-on-one or something? I
can't remember if it was a separate app or if that's part of the way that Tinder started off, but I remember I had an app like that where it was like you paired up with like, but you had your own profiles.
Okay.
I can see how it could be abused.
And but you had like a group of like 3 ladies and 3 dudes who like would meet up and go out, but it was supposed to be like a safer way of going out on dates.
Oh, see, I just assumed that if you're signing up for that, you're like, we're gonna have a 6-way.
Oh no.
I mean, that's what I
assumed. To a lot of people. I just think it's so cool. Like the guys that did end up going on a date.
I could have used this.
I did like them.
Oh, the guys that they went on the date. Yeah.
Scarf.
Well, so the whole grouper thing is like a thing that kind of goes throughout the film, where they initially want to sign up for this dating site. It's like you're 3 of you and 3 of those guys, and you got to make a profile picture, and like they're trying to take the profile picture, and like, you know, Renee is very insecure about it, and when she's in her phase where she's like thinks she's beautiful, that's when she kind of like ruins the date because she keeps telling the other girls what to do to make themselves better.
Right.
And it makes them insecure.
Before they even get the date, she's like, oh, I ruined the last photo. Let's take another photo so I can bring it up for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, which is like the first time she starts to cut kind of into the
they had
of the relationship.
Difficult job, I think, also as actors, because like it's very tricky being like dealing with the fact that someone's telling you don't recognize me, but I'm Renee. Like, it's hard to play like, okay, whatever, bitch. Like, that was kind of like, you know, they never really worried about it too much, but it's like I feel like that's a difficult thing to play, like having a character who's telling you that they look different, and you're just supposed to still play out a scene with them.
Whole different movie. If they have been like, we need to take you to a mental hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking her in, like.
But also, I got the impression that this is like her antics that she does a lot. Not that she's like, you don't recognize me, but I got the impression that maybe her friends were like, all right, Renee, just another one of the fucking weird things that you're doing today.
Yeah, this must be some kind of life coaching thing that you're taking.
Because she'd gone off on that diatribe right before they took the picture for grouper date, and it was like this like full pacing soliloquy style about how men won't even look at the profile. It's all about what you look like in the picture.
But a lot of people say that about dating apps. I mean, I haven't been on them, but
That's the truth. Like, Even with me, like, even I will, if I see a picture I don't like, it's like, how am I, you know?
Well, I listen to a podcast every week. It's Nicole Byer's podcast called Why Won't You Date Me? And she and everyone talks about her dating profiles and like shows them to people. And like they always talk about the first photo that she has up. And like everybody has different advice for her because they're like, that's the one they're going to look at. And, you know, like I think it's so true because like I don't think I even have Tinder on my phone anymore.
Okay.
Because I just gave up on that shit and it just drives your battery down. And I was only ever getting on it.
Your emotional, your soul battery?
No, my actual phone battery. I never really got far enough into it to like feel emotional about it because I mostly just like got drunk and like would scroll through people and be like hot, not hot, hot, not hot, and then I never talked to anyone on it because like the 2 dates I went on were so awful.
Oh goodness, I imagine. I would help my best friend with her when she started. So she like dabbled. She took her toe in online dating for like a month or something, and I was trying to help her with her profile picture because she just like insisted of having like in her Facebook and everything. She had like me and her profile picture. I was like, she's like, you're my best friend. I was like, yeah, but I look like I'm your girlfriend.
Yeah,
like.
But also, then he's like, which one am I dating?
I've spoken to friends who are like, I can't swipe right on a person if I don't know who they are in the picture. Like if they have a dog, like, yes. If they're holding a fish,
does this one come as a set?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really just trying to get people into
everyone's been to Machu
group
Picchu,
dating.
So just
that's
put
really
your Machu Picchu picture.
Do that.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Welcome to Nervous Breakdowns. This is the part of the show where we read bad casting breakdowns, which are the documents that go out when casting a film. I have something a little different this week that came to my attention, and that is a little thing that was happening on the internet this month, and that was several articles about. There were some that were like how male authors describe female characters, and then this one that I pulled is. This was an article. Gosh, I didn't grab the first one, but I want to say it was New York Times, I think, that was like, here's how some of your favorite female characters were described in the screenplay that was written about them. So there's like Sarah Connor and like Audrey Hepburn's character in Breakfast at Tiffany's. And the funny thing is, I didn't pull this part of the article, but the way it talked about it, it was like, can you believe the mastery of how these things were described? And then the last paragraph was like, yeah, maybe some of them don't hold up. Given what we feel about women now, but isn't it fun to look at them? Anyway, so I wanted to look at this, which is, I just pulled a few of them, so I'm sorry the print is so giant.
Wow.
Usually we let our guests read the nervous breakdowns.
Sure.
I'll give each one of you, so I'll give you, maybe you guys can switch off. So
I have
this
read
one,
this is fun.
Okay, so there's two of these, and then if somebody wants to grab this one, there's two on there.
Okay.
So these are actual, the way these characters were actually described in the screenplays. So why don't we start over here with Valerie?
All right, this is from Breakfast at Tiffany's. The girl walks briskly up the block in her low-cut evening dress. We get a look at her now for the first time. For all her chic,
probably.
For all her chic thinness, she has an almost breakfast cereal air of health. So resonating.
Valerie's face.
It's Fruit Loopy.
Her mouth is large,
healthy.
her nose upturned. Her sunglasses blot out her eyes. She could be anywhere from 16 to 30.
I've
As it
heard that of
happens.
many women.
But like, if you're Barney Stinson, like, hopefully not older than 30.
Yeah, let's hope not younger than 16.
Maybe not.
As it happens, she is 2 months short of 19.
Yeah.
Her name, as we will soon discover, is Holly Golightly.
So that's the description. Chic thinness, breakfast cereal.
with a low-cut dress.
Sunglasses blot out her eyes.
Just shy of 19.
Just shy of 19.
Breakfast cereal air of health?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
This was written in the script.
I love when women are
She eats
compared to
Kix?
food.
Yeah.
It seems like a very healthy comparison to me.
It makes me feel like a well-rounded
back
person.
then.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking about the like Reese's Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch
Yeah.
that
I
I almost
always am
impulse thought
thinking
the other
about
day.
those.
peanut
yeah.
butter,
All
Captain
very
Crunch, or
healthy,
Raisin
by the
Bran.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's what
this
I've heard
seems
about.
less revolting
all
than
grains.
almost all of the things that I've heard you guys read, though.
Yes, no, but
Yeah.
and to be fair, a lot of them we read, I think, are not great.
Yeah.
But these are these were in this article as the pinnacle of like evocative and endearing ways to describe female characters in these movies where these were supposed to be well-rounded, complex female characters.
I really feel like I know her now.
Right?
Whenever, I'm sorry, I just still can't get over the comparison to food thing. And I'm like, what would they compare me to?
I also wonder
like,
if she's smart, pretty, and funny. Because that's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder if they would just be like, slightly larger than the average hamburger. She walks down the street.
Not a slider.
She is a double quarter pounder. as she just saunters down the street.
Smarter than the average
Sloppy
Bear's
Joes.
picnic basket.
I just hope I'm described as a hot dog with extra relish.
Yes.
I hope I'm described as a pita pocket.
I have received messages comparing me to sushi and ice cream.
Nice.
Oh, well, those are my two favorite things.
I think I could deal with a beef rib too. You know?
Yeah, sure. Delicious,
A
tender,
McRib.
falls off the bone.
Probably cake.
Yeah.
Probably cake.
I can see that. Yeah, you're ornately decorated.
For whatever reason,
All right.
I'm a yellow cake with chocolate frosting girl.
So let's let's go to Helen, and you can just read both of those. Those are both descriptions of Sarah Connor.
Yes, from Terminator.
From Terminator 1 and 2.
And then Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So this is from the original Terminator.
Yeah.
And she's similar in age to Holly Golightly, as it turns out.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sarah Connor is 19, small and delicate featured, pretty in a flawed, accessible way.
Hillary's face. You don't like it. Neither does Sarah.
She doesn't stop the party when she walks in, but you'd like to get to know her.
You'd like to get to know her better, guys.
Her vulnerable quality masks a strength even she doesn't know exists.
She doesn't know her.
Well, and thank goodness, otherwise she'd be unsexy.
Yeah.
I know.
It's true. If she
You
knew how
don't know
strong
you're
she was, she'd be
beautiful.
revolting. Oh boy. There's a lot to unpack there.
Accessible. I want to be
accessible.
unattractive. No, accessible.
Pretty in a flawed way.
That's why people talk to me when I'm walking my dog, because I'm accessible.
You're
Yeah, you're
accessible.
pretty in a flawed,
You don't
accessible
know
way.
how strong you are.
They had a whole
But they do.
string of...
But the men in the room do.
That's right.
They had a whole list of those that were like pretty in a flawed way, but like this different words, but same basic meaning.
Yeah, there is like a meme where you can pick columns and describe
Oh,
yourself
yeah,
as a
I've
male
done that as
author
well.
would. Yeah.
And the thing is, and if I was more beautiful, people wouldn't hit on me. I'm like, oh, if I was like the right tier of hot, no one would hit on me or ever talk to me or look at me.
Yeah, if you had that breakfast cereal air of health.
That's all you need is just to look like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I'm a smoothie girl.
I don't get soggy in milk, gents.
like Cookie Crisp.
That's going on. That's going on the Tinder prof.
All right, so let's hear the second one.
Okay, from
This is
Terminator.
when
Great
she's
idea. I
evolved,
might
you
change
guys.
that to breakfast cereal air of health to on my Tinder profile.
Please do.
Yeah, good.
Please
Yeah.
do.
Please.
So this is from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, same character. And if you're wondering if Sarah Connor is the same woman we remember from last time, this says, Sarah Connor is not the same woman we remember from last time.
Oh.
Her eyes peer out through a wild tangle of hair like those of a cornered animal. Defiant and intense, but skittering around looking for escape at the same time. Fight
describes
or
that
flight.
describes you on most Tinder dates, right?
Skittering and animalistic, yes.
We like our women like a cornered animal.
Down one cheek is a long scar from just below the eye to her upper lip. Her voice is a low and chilling monotone.
I want to do her.
Yeah, I
What I like
be that
most
Sarah Connor.
What I like most about her is that she's trapped.
I do.
Yeah.
I love that she's a
can't-
trapped animal that's
Yeah.
skittering. That to me, when I read that,
That's
you know what that
accessible.
tells me, guys? That tells me strength.
Yeah.
That description tells
That
me
she
that is
knows
a
exists.
strong
Well,
female
that she knows-
character
yeah.
who can get shit done in a skittering, scared animal kind of
She
way.
can hold her own in a knife
and
fight.
the spoiler is in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, we see her not like we saw her before. She's doing pull-ups
She's
in the
doing
insane
pull-ups.
asylum where she is, and her hair
Which-
is scattered.
if-
and she is trapped.
And she doesn't even wear a bra, I'm pretty
If that
sure.
doesn't scream scared animal to me, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
You really nailed
Every time I trap a raccoon, that's what it seems like to me.
If
It's
I
like,
lived
oh, Sarah Connor, calm down.
if I lived with Edward for long, I might feel trapped and scared too.
Oh, I definitely would feel trapped and scared.
I had such a bad boy crush on
Me
him.
too.
when
I
was
really
in
did
school.
I did too. I love the scene where his hair flips around.
Oh,
Let's one more, and then if I
yes, I want to read those because those are fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
This is from Bonnie and Clyde, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites.
It's good. It's interesting. I wrote a paper about it.
I did too.
Cool.
I didn't.
Blonde, somewhat fragile, intelligent in expression. She is putting on makeup with intense concentration and appreciation, applying lipstick and eye makeup. As the camera slowly pulls back from the close-up, we see that we have been looking into a mirror. What? She is standing before the full-length mirror in her bedroom doing her makeup, like I just said. She overdoes it in the style of the time, rosebud mouth, and so forth. As the film progresses, her makeup will be refined until at the end, there is none.
You don't
So
say
to
that
show her
right at the
progression in
beginning.
character, she has less makeup on, you guys.
How do you
I
refine
kind of
makeup
like
until
that
there
last
isn't
sentence,
anymore?
though.
Doesn't
There's a
even
poetry.
I
True.
don't know.
Very
It seems like a man's version of a
Oh,
woman
for
evolving
sure.
to me.
For sure,
like-
for sure.
That she would like wear.
She's
less
so beautiful,
makeup.
she doesn't even need makeup.
I just want to know when I auditioned for this part.
Of course, that
Um,
came out 40 years ago.
Am
50
I
years ago.
just going to put makeup on and walk in the room and allow them to look at my face? Or
Seems
do
like
I
it.
get a character description?
Seems like
Well,
it.
we've actually planned a sex scene for you that we're going to sprinkle with some impotency.
Yeah,
So
there's
it'll be
some
really
impotency.
erotic.
Yeah,
Ooh, I don't think I've ever seen Bonnie and Clyde.
it's actually a fucking great movie.
I believe
really
it.
good.
But I mean, that I'm just like, if I saw that on a casting breakdown, I'm just like, but like, how do I emote that?
Yeah, like, do you want a
don't know
cat eye? What do you
why,
want
but-
from me?
Rosebud mouth.
really
It
creeps me
sounds
out. I don't know,
creepy
it's
as
just
shit.
creepy.
Yeah.
And so forth.
It's
Maybe that's
when
God,
you
that's
do.
the worst movie
Stop
of
it.
all
I'm
time.
gonna make you watch it
Citizen
sometime.
Kane is the
Stop it.
worst
Let's talk
movie
about it
I've
on
ever
this
seen in my
podcast.
life.
No,
Oh
a
my
rosebud
God.
mouth is when you draw a slat on your face with lipstick.
So to counter that, there were several things that happened on the internet. It was Vulture's compilation of cringe-inducing descriptions of screenplays. There was a lot of going on Twitter of people describing themselves the way a male author would.
Yeah.
This is a Washington Post where somebody wrote if male authors described men the way they describe women. I've only pulled the ones from films because we're a film podcast. So, Hillary, here's one for you. I started a couple for you to read.
The author ones are pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
too.
the
That's
author
really
ones are great
fun.
too, but I figured we'd do the. So here's some. This is how perhaps some male characters would be described.
Toy Story. Possessing a promising body with hard, shapely curves, Buzz dresses older than his age, but manages to pull it off.
I just love that kills me.
He does pull it off.
Accurate.
He really does.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones is in his 30s, but he's dressed like a much younger man in a half unbuttoned shirt and a hat he thinks too much of. He wears glasses, but would look good without them.
I mean, really, like this feels exactly like what it's like to read it. It's like insane.
It does.
Like this is so dead on.
haunting.
So-
Vulture did this.
but would look great without them.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, it's every fucking movie with a
Men
I'm
should
dying.
have to
Homely
read
woman.
these
Exactly.
breakdowns. They should have to.
Yeah, it's killing me.
Movement.
I almost pulled the
called a
one from
U2
Jaws too.
movement.
That one's pretty good.
Star Wars: A New Hope. Luke Skywalker is in his late teens, pretty without knowing it.
Yes.
Sorry, can I just read this 2001 A Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
one?
Actually, that one's really good. Let's end on that.
The first thing you notice about HAL 9000, a glowing red boob in space, is that he's a glowing red boob in space.
And that's our nervous breakdowns for this week.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Woo.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of the Feminine Mistake Podcast. Are you loving this month's special guests just as much as we are? Well, don't miss Helen and Valerie on their own podcast, the Falling in Love Montage Podcast. Helen and Valerie watch the best and worst of chick flicks with style, irreverence, and I think you've already noticed that they are charming as fuck. Don't miss the Falling in Love Montage Podcast. This month, Helen and Valerie will be celebrating McConaughey with the films of Matthew McConaughey. So don't miss out on that. You can stream the Falling in Love Montage Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or any of your favorite third-party apps. You can also find it on fallinginlovemontage.com or on their podcast network, Flying Machine. Critical Crop Top's new live sketch show, Critical Crop Top Enters the Multiverse, opens this weekend. Our first show is this Friday, May 11th, and we also have shows on Sunday the 13th, Friday the 18th, and Sunday the 20th at the Highland Inn Ballroom in Atlanta, Georgia. You can get your tickets at the door or right now on our website for only $10, criticalcroptop.com/tickets. No matter where you are, you can always enjoy our video content, including our latest web show, Vera's Workplace Sensitivity Training Series, on our website, criticalcroptop.com/videos. And all of our content is available on the brand new content platform, Thea, which is an awesome site that showcases Atlanta artists and video content creators. And you can watch it all using the Thea mobile app for your phone, or you can watch it on your desktop. That's Thea, THEA. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Feminine Mistake Podcast. Come back next week when we'll be wrapping up our discussion of the film I Feel Pretty. You can keep the conversation going with us on social media. We're at Feminine Mistake Pod on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us on Twitter at FemMistakePod. Till then, if you've got a nervous breakdown that you'd like us to read on the show, you can send that or any other correspondence to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.
Hey y'all, this is Melody
And Aaron,
the hosts of Heaving Bosoms, a romance novel podcast.
we're two long-distance friends who gush, giggle, snark, and snort our way through a different romance novel each week.
If you love fangirling about your latest read with your best friends, with or without wine, come join us for a deep breakdown of our favorite and occasionally not so favorite romance novels. Our recaps come with a heaping dose of unconditional friendship, open-hearted feminism, and our fair share of tangents.
Come for the romance, but stay for the self-love recommendations we use to cap off each episode.
You can find Heaving Bosoms on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, so keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love sexy times and friendship. Bye!
Bye!